Daredevil Born Again Season 2 just aired its penultimate episode and it was fantastic. This season has been so damn good and every episode has been just as good or better than the last. But here's the kicker, nobody's watching, and I think I know why. Why? Hey everybody, Colton here, and Daredevil Born Again Season 2 has been possibly the greatest season of Marvel television on Disney Plus ever. It's right back on par with its Netflix counterpart, and it is so much better than the first season of Born Again that, let's face it, it was a mess. And despite the second season of Born Again, the fifth overall season of Daredevil being a return to form that those who are watching are absolutely loving, the sad fact is not a lot of people are watching. This second season of Born Again has about 50% fewer viewers watching than season 1 did, which is just tragic to hear because it's such a damn good show. So we need to talk about why this is happening. Why, despite season 2 being a far better season of television than the first season, why is it bringing in 50% fewer viewers? Well, because season 1 fucked it over. Now look, there could be some other reasons, such as it being a TVMA show on the wrong platform, that platform being Disney Plus, and we will talk about that and if they need to move the show to another platform like Hulu. But first I want to talk about the fact that Born Again Season 1 and its messy, tonally inconsistent, whiplash-inducing mishmash of two different shows Frankenstein together into the monster that we call Daredevil Born Again Season 1, people were really excited for the big return of the Daredevil show, and it was just not on par with the original first 3 seasons. And look, guys, you don't get a second chance to make a good first impression. Daredevil Born Again Season 1 was Marvel Studios' first time producing a Daredevil show, with Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio back as Daredevil and Kingpin after having been gone for like 7 years. And remember, while the Daredevil series on Netflix was loosely in the MCU and technically under the Disney banner, Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios, they weren't involved with the creation of that show. But when Feige and Marvel Studios did decide to relaunch Daredevil, that first season of the show was their opportunity to show the world, who was very excited for this big return of Daredevil, whether or not it was going to be as good or perhaps even better than the show that we loved, and they failed. And let me be clear, Marvel, they tried to correct course in season 1, and they fully have successfully, completely corrected course for season 2, but in season 1, when they tried to correct course, realizing midway through making season 1 of Born Again that they were being fucking downright idiotic, making the show with the original plan just a much lighter Disney Plus-y feeling that the other new MCU shows had, think along the lines of Hawkeye, which also wasn't anything to brag about. Feige and Marvel, when they were making Born Again season 1, and I believe it was the writer's strike that happened, or maybe it was the actors' strike, I can't remember which one. But anyway, they had to shut down production for a little while. And that gave Feige the opportunity to have some free time to go in and like watch dailies and see where they were. And he realized that they were doing the wrong thing by not only, going for this wrong tone, but the even bigger sin of only bringing back Cox and D'Onofrio, and that being the only thing that was connected to the old show. Their original plan was to just treat the old show like a very vague and loose history that wasn't canon to the MCU. They weren't going to bring back Foggy or Karen or Bullseye. They had recast Vanessa, and the show, it just kind of sucked, and everyone knew it. Charlie Cox knew it. D'Onofrio knew it. There are interviews where you can see them kind of dancing around it, but it's clear that they were like, what we're doing is not great. We need to go back to the other thing. So they all knew it. Feige knew it, and they did the right thing and said, okay, let's stop. Let's rework this thing. And then they implemented that complete tone shift right in the middle of season 1. They canonized the old shows, including all the Defender shows. They did everything right, except they wanted to keep a lot of what they had already shot for their original vision for this new show. And what they ultimately did was just try to shoehorn all of that footage in. They filmed a new pilot and a new penultimate episode and finale, and then just kept a lot of what they shot before the big reworking. And that's why in the middle of the season, the bulk of the season, it just feels off because they're trying to put gold spray paint on a fucking turd and keep a lot of the dog shit that they had already shot and just hope we wouldn't notice. They were hoping if they could just squeeze it right in between these two great bookends that, oh, maybe we won't notice. We noticed. This lackluster first season of Born Again that people were really looking forward to, this grand return of Daredevil, it had a good first episode and it had a good ending, but the middle, the bulk of the show, it just wasn't that good. I mean, it wasn't bad, far from it, but it wasn't great either. And that's my guess as to why the second season hasn't been able to bring people back to give this second season a chance. I think if people knew, like for a fact, they could know that they would enjoy season 2, that they'd be watching it. But people who aren't as plugged in as you and me, they don't know about the big reworking and how season 2 is a return to form and way better than season 1 of Born Again. They just know that they watched that new Daredevil show, Born Again season 1, last year, and it wasn't great. And, you know, since they're busy like working a job and raising their kids and, you know, life stuff, and they only have so much time to dedicate to watching a TV show, they're deciding not to roll the dice and gamble that time, that very precious, valuable, small amount of time they have, to another season of a show that they didn't really like. And instead, they're spending their time watching a show that is more of a sure thing, like The Boys. So yeah, I think that's the number one problem here. They made a bad first impression, and no matter how good the second season was, they had already turned off a large chunk of the audience. Now, the diehards, like us, we're still watching, but I think the masses that came out for season 1, they got burned, and they aren't interested in coming back, meaning that they haven't seen how great the second season is. And it also works the opposite way. Take Thunderbolts, for example. That's a movie that is fucking fantastic, but it didn't like kill it at the box office. But I guarantee you that when the next Thunderbolts movie comes out, or whatever they end up calling it, when those characters are back, that movie is going to do better than the first one did, because people saw the first one, heard how great it was. For those who didn't see it, they've watched it on Disney Plus or streaming, whatever. So they're going to be more excited to see that one. I also think Thunderbolts being so great is going to help Avengers Doomsday. So it works both ways. Now, here's another thing that I think this show, Daredevil Born Again Season 2, might be suffering from. It's on the wrong platform. I think the name Disney Plus is killing this show. I think that like Star Wars, that works on Disney Plus. More mainstream, like family-friendly Marvel shows, I think they can work on Disney Plus as well. But I do find myself wondering sometimes if some of their shows, even like a Loki, might have performed even better. And Loki performed well, by the way, but I wonder if it would have performed even better had it been in front of a different audience, like a Netflix audience or a Hulu or Amazon audience. You have to meet people where they are. And I don't know that Daredevil Born Again is doing that. It's a TVMA show, and I just don't know that it is meeting its audience where they are by having this show live on Disney Plus. And I think that's why they need to have this thing on Hulu, which Disney owns. They have season 1 of Born Again on Hulu, but it's like not at the same time. When you click on it on Hulu, it says this.
And now, enjoy this Disney Plus favorite on us.
And like I said, it's only season 1 that is on Hulu. And, you know, if I were Disney, I would just have all like the Daredevil trailers end, not just with that little Disney Plus snap logo, but also have a title card that just says now streaming on Disney Plus and Hulu. And this show, I think, should be splattered all over the homepage of Hulu. That doesn't mean don't have it on Disney Plus, but this show's numbers, I think, would be way better if you could watch the new season and the brand new episodes at the same time they drop on Disney Plus on Hulu as well, and have your show in front of all those other eyeballs. Disney, I think, is in a position where they don't really seem to know what the fuck they're doing with owning Hulu and Disney Plus. You can watch some Disney Plus branded stuff on Hulu, you can watch some Hulu branded stuff on Disney Plus, and that's cool, but it's still really messy and confusing, and the bundles are confusing, and it's just weird. So while I'm not necessarily saying that they need to combine these two services into one big service with like a whole new name or something like that, I think the Disney Plus name has its target audience, and I think the Hulu name has its target audience. I don't think that we need to see a shit ton of the same shows popping up on both services and have people wondering why they're paying for both. So the bundles are a good idea. And if you have the bundle, perhaps having them as one app where you can kind of just, go between the two different platforms all in one place, that could be cool. But I do think that a show like Born Again, it definitely should be an exception to the rule that it should be a Marvel show that you can catch on Disney Plus and Hulu. I think that it should be just as much a Hulu show as it is a Disney Plus show. And maybe that's not the case, for all other like Marvel Studios shows. But I think that if you had Born Again showing up on a platform like Hulu as well, all over the front page and not, marketed as, like a Disney Plus exclusive or, oh, this one's on us, all that shit. I think that could really help this show's reach. Anyway, all right, those are my thoughts. I love this season of Born Again. It's so good. And I don't mean to sound negative about, talking shit about season 1 instead of, just focusing on the fact that season 2 is fantastic. Season 2 is fantastic. But it's a shame that people aren't watching it because of how mishandled season 1 was. Those are my thoughts. I love you all. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I gotta run and take the boy to the pediatrician. He's fine. Just I think a 2-week checkup. I've been Colton Ogburn. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.